2013 Quad City Chaos. You are watching this tournament live at the Bunker in Downsview Park in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I'm the Derby Nerd, joined by Monichrome, who is staying on the mic.
I sure am.
This is the final game of the tournament. CN Power is 1-0 so far in this tournament. The Rideau Valley Vixens also, or 1-1, I should say, and the Rideau Valley Vixens also 1-1. Both scored victories against Queen City Roller Girls yesterday, and both suffered losses to the Ohio Roller Girls yesterday, who went undefeated for the tournament.
That, of course, is the game that we just watched. Bit of a point differential there, but certainly hard won by Ohio. The Queen City Roller Girls did not make it easy for them to take that win.
That was a phenomenal game. Probably Queen City got better, I think, every game this weekend. They had a rough start against the Rideau Valley Vixens, did exceptionally well against TORD last night, and then were really into that game until maybe the last 10 minutes or so, and Ohio kind of put down the hammer and ran away with it in the end. But a really good performance. 86 points, I think, was the differential, which is very good.
Certainly respectable, considering that Ohio is ranked, what, 18th now?
Up there. I mean, I think officially at WFTDA they're 21st, but I think they've definitely gained some ranking points this weekend for sure. All right, so for this matchup, going to try and take a look at the benches and give you the skaters here. On the Rideau Valley Vixens, we have number 40, that is Rudolph. We have Annihilator, a skater formerly known as Annihilator, now skating as Brennan. Number 10, Hannah Murphy. Number 55, Soul Wrecker. Number 13, Blackout Susan. Number 30, Sister Disaster. Number 16, Margaret Choke. Number 9, Pixie Cuts. Number 45, Da Big Block. And now I'm losing the numbers. Number 864, Eastern Blocker. Transfer from Capital City Roller Derby, another league in Ottawa. I believe this is her first bit of action this weekend. Eastern Blocker. And, of course, DDT. Number, I can't see her number, 74, DDT. We also have number 42, HP Love Crash. And 278, Keel. And, of course, 22, Carnage. Sorry, I think I got everyone there. I was trying to do it off my just...
Look at you trying to do it by memory. Skating for Toronto, CN Power. Right there on the pivot line now, sorry, the jammer line, is L7 Tear Apart. Jamming for CN Power is Cookie Dough. Mia Culprit, number 22, is out there, as well as, gosh, big mess. Santa Muerta, 111, and 212, Lady Gaga.
We'll get the rest of those CN Power skaters for you. Game is, of course, being run, and first blood goes to Rideau Valley Vixens, number 55, Soul Wrecker in the brown for the Vixens. Lead jammer, Cookie Dough, being held right now nicely by Rudolph, Blackout Susan, and Hannah Murphy.
Of course, that's Toronto CN Power in pink. The Rideau Valley Vixens are in golden brown.
First time the Vixens have worn their golden brown this weekend? Have they been gold?
Yes, they were wearing yellow the rest of the weekend. Decided to change their shirts, I think. They were sweated through.
Cookie Dough finally through the pack now, coming around as Soul Wrecker having a hard time picking up those points. Forced to call it off. I'm not sure if she got them all. She got at least 3. She did get all 4 points. This is a different roster than we saw from CN Power last night. This is much more similar to the roster we saw from CN Power against Ohio yesterday afternoon. 5 skaters difference between Queen City and the Ohio game, showing the depth of the CN Power bench. Pixie Cuts out there jamming for the Vixens, number 9, against number 2, co-captain of the CN Power, Dusty now.
Dusty.
Still 5 on the track for each team. Oh, Dusty almost made it through the inside, gets knocked in. Forced to come in behind Margaret Choke. Pixie Cuts, though, having a hard time with Hoser and Bomber. Bomber forcing Pixie Cuts way back into the back of the pack.
Rennie Rumble trying to make a hole for her.
And she's through. Dusty picks up a lead jammer for CN Power.
In the pack there up front is Dinah Hirchen, number 21. Number 22 is Betty Bomber. Sorry, that's 21, Betty Bomber.
Ooh, late call by Dust Bunny. Oh, just in time. Sorry. 4-0 for Dusty. A nice call, I should say.
Absolutely.
Ties up this game. 2 jams in.
Ballerina lining up for CN Power. This is her first jam for this particular game. Call up from the Bruisers. This is her rookie season and with CN Power.
And she's squaring off against another rookie, number 22, Carnage, for the Rideau Valley Vixens. So 2 rookie jammers out there. Carnage has had a strong tournament. Really good game against Ohio yesterday, scoring more than half of the Vixens' points in that loss. Carnage at the front now with the 2-wall to beat. It's Santa Muerta and Mia Culprit laying some big hits.
Oh, Mia Culprit getting taken out.
And she's heading to the penalty box on a major call. Major penalty. Neither jammer getting through. Ballerina finally sees a line on the outside. Lead jammer, Ballerina. But Carnage also able to get through. Vixens have had, I think, had a really tough time against Ohio, but looked phenomenal against Queen City in the opening game of the Quad City Chaos, and they would love to end as strongly as they finished. 2 points on the board for Ballerina there.
Eking out a lead, CN Power in the pink. 6 points versus Rideau Valley's 4.
Rideau Valley entering this tournament ranked 71st in the WFTDA. CN Power ranked 49th. On the rollergirl.ca Canadian rankings, the Vixens, I believe, are 5th coming into this game, or 6th, I should say, and CN Power is 3rd currently. A Rebel Rocket out there jamming in pink for CN Power against Soul Wrecker in the brown and gold for the Vixens, both trying to work their way through in the inside in turn number 2. Rebel Rocket's going to have a slight advantage. Out of play call. She is your lead jammer. That's a 3rd lead in a row for CN Power.
Of course, Rebel Rocket with those long legs of hers did call or force a low block major on one of the Vixens' opponents. She's able to scoop up. Is that 2 points?
Looks like 2. Nice job by Rebel Rocket, too. She knocked out of bounds, came back in quickly, took a look, saw Soul Wrecker coming, and managed to jump through to pick up 2 before calling it. Nice job. 8-4, 5 in.
Rebel spent most of her derby career on the pivot line as a pivot for CN Power and has recently converted to a full-on jammer. But you will see her in the pack from time to time.
Only 2 blockers on the track for CN Power. It's Jubilee and Lady Gaga, and they're holding Pixie Cuts right now. And Jubilee doing a nice job of dragging her back as Lady Gaga heads to the penalty box. Cookie Dough being held up nicely by Rudolph and Hannah Murphy.
Mia Culprit and Jubilee trying to hold off Rideau Valley's players, trying to split this pack up.
Just nice one-on-one work from Hannah Murphy, but can only hold her for so long. And Mia Culprit with a nice hit to Pixie Cuts, but Pixie Cuts stays in bounds, picks up all 4 points to tie this game up, 8-8. The first ever, here's a little bit of Derby trivia, the first ever game that the Rideau Valley Vixens played was against CN Power, and it was at the Bunker, early 2010. It was, I believe the final score was 199-49. Someone on the chat can correct me if I'm wrong.
That was at the hangar.
That was at the hangar.
Yes, that was when we were still at Downsview Park, but in a different facility. Fewer windows in the bunker here. It's a fallout shelter after all.
They have come a long way since that debut. Nice move by Pantyhoser to pull Carnage to the back of the pack. Play is underway. Dusty trying to fight through a front wall. Oh, and Hoser right now one-on-one against Carnage, winning that battle. Dusty, though, has got to beat Hannah Murphy. Able to do it. She is your lead jammer. But Hannah Murphy with a nice hit allows Carnage to get through first. Dusty's going to stop, kill some time.
And she's going to wait and calls it.
Nice job cleaning the litter box, expression I heard today. She's trying to clean out her blocker penalties. Nice job by Dusty, and that keeps the score tied at 8. So yeah, the Vixens have come a long way. Last year, these 2 teams faced off here at the Quad City Chaos almost a year to the day, and that score was 197-84. So the Vixens will be looking to improve on that loss and maybe even pull off another upset as they did yesterday against the Queen City Roller Girls.
That was Lady Gaga and the big block in the penalty box. Both teams have 3 blockers on the track. Ballerina running into some trouble at the back. It looks like Soul Wrecker is the lead jammer for this jam.
Ballerina finally through, but she's got a lot of track to make up. And it looks like Soul Wrecker's going to come in and give the Vixens a lead, at least briefly here. And she does, able to call it before Ballerina can get in and steal some points. 2 more points, 10-8 now for the Vixens. A tight start.
Absolutely.
It's been a fantastic weekend of roller derby here at the Quad City Chaos. Absolutely amazing level of derby. Every year this tournament just gets more and more competitive, and we've had at least 4 games that were almost mind-blowingly good. So if you...
I think that was last night. Our shoulders are still a little tense.
Yes. And that Queen City game against Ohio this afternoon also surprisingly tight. Pixie Cuts having a hard time now at the back, but Rebel Rocket being held by Margaret Choke, number 16, one-on-one.
She is going to push through. And Rebel Rocket makes it out of the pack.
Lead jammer, Candy Crossbones heading to the penalty box, a direction of gameplay major. She was holding Pixie Cuts back. And Rebel Rocket sneaking up to a distracted pack. Can she make it through? And she does.
Oh.
Margaret Choke doing a nice job of waterfalling to that front. Rebel Rocket gets 3 points for calling it off. Another lead change, 11-10 now.
Heading into that tense moment, Carnage on the jammer line along with Cookie Dough from CN Power. That jammer line is brought to you by Wicked Skatewear, an apparel and uniform company that also happens to sell roller skates and skate gear. Based out of Huntington Beach, you can visit them at wickedskatewear.com.
Slow, scrappy start now as Carnage tries to work her way around, but a nice bridge by Mia Culprit and Lady Gaga with tear apart, holding her way back and allowing Cookie Dough to push one. She's got one to beat. Rudolph at the front. Rudolph and Hannah Murphy doing a phenomenal job holding her back, but can only hold her for so long. Lead jammer for Cookie Dough. But Carnage also makes it through.
CN Power trying to clip one off to slow down this pack.
Only about a half a track for Carnage to make up. Some passive offense from CN Power. They're going to have to watch their points as Carnage approaches. Cookie forced to call it off, only picking up 1 point. Got a feeling, especially here in the early going, that each point is going to be very important, though.
Yes. Every second is counting, and we are only 10 minutes into this game with only 12 points for CN Power, 10 for Rideau Valley.
Looks like a 4-3 pack advantage right now for the Vixens. Sister Disaster to Big Block, Margaret Choke, and Cool out there. And a 3-wall, though, at the CN Power 3-wall, doing a nice job holding her back. Dinah Hercha peeled off. Soul Wrecker fighting her way outside now against Betty Bomber. Candy Crossbones back on the track. A nice move by Sister Disaster brings Dusty all the way back. And now Rennie Rumble recycling the jam.
A game like this, I would be surprised if we get into triple digits by the end.
Yeah. Phenomenal defense from both teams right now at the start of this game. Neither jammer able to get through, and the pack's on almost a dead standstill in the second straightaway.
We're already more than 30 seconds into this jam, and we haven't actually made it back around to the jammer line.
Yeah, let alone found a lead jammer.
Oh, Dusty takes a low block and is called off.
Power jam for the Vixens. First blood potentially here. First mistake, anyway, made by CN Power. And with Soul Wrecker on there, this is exactly the situation they want to be in. Well, Vixens now chasing a front pace line, though.
Although you've got 2 jammers up there, Betty Bomber and Candy Crossbones can keep this pack fast.
That's right, Vixens have to be careful about their pace management. They do like to play a fast brand of roller derby. But these are smart players, so if they go in and try to peel one off to trap, they will work the pace. And the Vixens now smartened up to that already and realizing that trying to pace line this team is not a good idea. 4-2 pack advantage, though. Nice pace line, nice defense by Candy Crossbones. And Betty Bomber killing some time in this clock, but Soul Wrecker back around for another pass. Candy Crossbones to beat. Soul Wrecker through for another 5 points. That's 15 if you're keeping score at home on this jam. And the Rideau Valley Vixens opening up the first big lead of the game.
Oh, Dinah Hercha. One big hit before she calls it off.
Nice, smart call off by the Vixens. They're going to start on the power jam here. 17 points in total for Soul Wrecker. And 27-12 now, 15 points. Believe it or not, that's easily the largest lead of this game so far. We are 13 minutes in.
Pixie Cut's lined up to jam for Rideau Valley. Dusty is standing in the penalty box. And she does eke through. Surprise lead jammer.
Dusty showing some of that old school speed there that she is known for. Dusty missed 6 months last year with a major PCL injury to her knee, but she is back and showing some of that speed that has made her one of Canada's premier jammers.
Yep, she's looking to lap, or at least beat out this pack, and she calls it.
4 points, though, a nice pickup for CN Power as they try to recover from that power jam. So 27-16 now will be the score. Great start, though. I think for the Vixens are going to have to be very happy with this start. Keeping it out of the penalty box and also forcing some penalties on CN Power. It's a 4-3 pack advantage right now for CN Power. Betty Balmer out there pivoting. Pivot in the box for the Vixens. Ballerina jamming in pink for the home team, Toronto.
Oh, she just makes it through. She is lead jammer.
Did a phenomenal job absorbing that hit from the big block, who can hit hard. We know that. And finally, it looks like Carnage is. Oh, I spoke too soon. It looked like she made it through the pack, but a nice last-minute hit from Dinah Hercha. Oh, and Ballerina.
Fanny Hoser, I think, laid out that big hit, but was supported by Dinah.
2 big hitters at the back of the pack having their way with the rookie. Ballerina's already got 1 scoring pass through, and she's coming back again. So CN Power pulling close.
Oh, natural grand slam.
2 in a row now for Ballerina. She's already got 10 points, coming around for another pass. Carnage is still trapped in the pack, 27-26. We might have yet another lead change.
Oh.
And a nice job. Ballerina gets all the points. So halfway mark, 3 points is the difference. It's a very low-scoring game thus far. CN Power just with a slight lead now. That power jam, though, for the Vixens, keeping them in this one right now. Rebel Rocket out there in pink to jam for CN Power. Soul Wrecker on the line, number 55 in brown for the Vixens. Hannah Murphy, Brennan locked into Rebel Rocket at the front of the pack. Soul Wrecker, though, having a hard time with Jubilee, Dinah Hercha, and Lady Gaga. Nice 3-wall.
Oh, it looks like Hannah Murphy is called out on a penalty.
Soul Wrecker about 20 feet behind lead jammer Rebel Rocket. Rebel Rocket's going to look for a point or two. And they were imploring her to call it from the bench. Rebel didn't pick up any points, but nothing all.
CN Power now with 30 points. Rideau Valley, 27.
Pixie Cuts, who's had a massive breakout weekend for the Vixens, already out there on the jam line, number 9 in brown for the Rideau Valley Vixens. She's going to be lining up against Cookie Dough, number 207 for CN Power. Cookie Dough in her second year with the Toronto Roller Derby All-Stars. And she's doing a nice job defensively on Pixie Cuts, but can only hold her for so long. Sister Disaster holding her back. Margaret Choke, last line of defense. Cookie Dough is your lead jammer, though. And Pixie Cuts still trapped on turn number 2 as all 4 CN Power blockers laying out some heavy defense. Oh, and Cookie gets knocked outside by the big block. Oh, and a cut by Pixie Cuts First PJ now of the game for CN Power.
CN Power taking this outside line, keeping it slow against the big block. Cookie Dough has 2 now to beat.
Past the big block, Margaret Choke now the other way, and Cookie Dough gets around her.
Oh, and Betty Bomber throws Hannah Murphy to the back.
Oh, and Hannah Murphy with nice defense on Cookie Dough, pulling her all the way back.
That's what she does best, but once she hits that pack, she can't keep moving forward. Cookie Dough does advance 5 more points.
Nice use of her pack by Cookie Dough there to lead Hannah Murphy into the back of that wall, and then pop through on the outside. So 1 power jam each now for these 2 teams, and CN Power really taking advantage of this.
Absolutely. It looks like CN Power picked up a few tricks from Ohio. They have completely isolated the Rideau Valley skaters from each other, even forcing the big block to hit her own jammer.
Oh, and I believe Pixie cut. Did she?
She did cut again.
She did cut again. It looked like one on turn 2. Pixie Cut's being forced out again. This will be back-to-back power jams with the score getting up there, 55-27. 25 points on that jam for Cookie Dough, 20 of them coming on the power jam. Dusty going to start this one on the power jam. And Lady Gaga with a false start is going to have to allow the pack to move forward so she does not incur a major penalty. She does that. And Dusty with a nice juke on turn 2 around Rudolph for the lead jammer on this power jam.
And once again, juke to the in, juke out. She's up against a wall, but her own pack clears it through for her. 1 more to beat.
Oh, Lady Gaga went one-on-one against Hannah Murphy. Hannah Murphy took her out, and Hannah Murphy able to knock Dusty to the outside on turn 4. Big hits. Oh, and Dusty almost able to stay in, but forced to the back of the pack. This power jam not going as well as the previous.
No.
Just phenomenal defense.
Yep, I think Rideau Valley was wise to put these 3 blockers out there.
And yes, then they're 4th out of the pack,
Yep.
out of the penalty box now, so they've got a full crew on, and a phenomenal job. 0 points for Dusty on that power jam. Jubilee with a nice offensive block on Margaret Choke, but the call is forced. 5 points in total. So excellent defense by the Rideau Valley Vixens to ensure that the lead didn't increase too much. 60-27 is the lead now, with 9.5 minutes remaining in this first half. This first half is just blowing right by.
I know.
So the Vixens started off very strongly against Ohio yesterday, and then just kind of tailed off. Ohio just got under their skin, it seemed like, and were able to dominate that game. But Vixens have really held their ground here. They could have fallen apart there with those 2 power jams back-to-back, but locked down the defense, and they're still clearly in this one, only 33 points down.
Yep, Solrucker was ready and rearing to go for this last jam before the penalty was called, and it looks like she's just as ready and willing to skate through this one.
Ballerina, though, is your lead jammer, and she's coming around to score. She's got about a half track, and she bursts around on the outside. Clean pass and calls it 4 more points for Ballerina. Nice control on the speed there. Stay in bounds. So CN Power into a nice rhythm right now. They're keeping their blockers on the track. Very different game. Last night's Queen City game, CN Power, I think, maybe had 4 blockers on the track once or twice the whole game.
Yeah.
Much more controlled today.
Both teams had 2 foul outs, so definitely cleaner, neater, faster derby here.
There is the big block in Brown and Dinah Hercher, the 2 skaters, 1 each from each team in the penalty box. Cut on Carnage. I thought so on the inside. Referee indicating Ross Vegas. Is that Ross Vegas? Yes, indicating the cut penalty. This is the 3rd power jam for CN Power now this half. Rebel Rocket, though, being handled nicely by Hannah Murphy, and Hannah Murphy recycling her all the way back. And Rebel Rocket slowly going back in. Makes nice move on the inside to get around Hannah Murphy, and then another. And that's the problem with those long bridges, is you're just a bunch of pylons.
Yep.
And when the skater re-enters, like Rebel Rocket just did, she's able to just go through one by one.
Yep, when you've got that strong stance like she does, too. It's pretty easy to just step over some bodies.
Nice defense again at the back of the pack, though. Rudolph heading to the penalty box on a major for the Vixens, but Rebel Rocket having no luck getting through on this power jam. 21 Dinah Hercha right out of the penalty box, right back in it. And Rebel calls that off, only picking up 4 points. Now, CN Power not taking advantage of these last two power jams. This could come back to haunt them later in the game.
Looks like Rebel's trying to contest that she is owed 5 points. Ref is giving her 4.
That's Deuce Willis from the Hammer City Roller Girls in the middle with Parking Lot, and Ross Vegas you're seeing in the middle there. And there's a look at the box. Carnage standing. Rudolph in the box for the Vixens. Dinah Hercha back in there for CN Power.
Sneaking around the outside, jamming for CN Power. She almost made it through, stuck behind one of Rideau Valley's. And she does eke through the center.
That was Sister Disaster holding her back. And now Candy Crossbones and Betty Bomber doing a nice job on Carnage. Carnage finally pushing Candy Crossbones out of play and forcing to let her go.
Oh, not before Dusty scoops up 5 points.
Okay.
Sorry, 4.
Candy Crossbones heading to the penalty box. I didn't see the call. That'll be another disadvantage for the CN Power pack. DDT coming out there, number 74 for the Vixens. Haven't seen her much yet. Actually, at all in this game.
No.
She's going to skate against Ballerina. 2 on the track for CN Power. 3 for the Vixens. That's Brennan at front, standing in front of Tara Part and Lady Gaga at the big block, and Hannah Murphy at the back of the pack for the Vixens.
Score now 72-27 for CN Power. Ballerina
nice.
Trying to force a cut.
Low block major being called on Ballerina.
I'm not sure where that came from, but DDT is now your
lead
lead jammer
and
for Rideau Valley.
And a power jam. Low block. Maybe blocking. Maybe he meant to say blocking out of bounds. I'm not sure.
Hard to say.
We're allowed
Maybe
to speculate on these things.
Yeah.
Maybe. Interesting call, nonetheless.
Oh,
Nice hit by Tara Part. And forcing DDT all the way back. CN Power doing a nice job, though, of making sure there are 2 there to wait for her. And once again, pushing DDT back, and DDT with a major track cut. Nice work from Dinah Hercha on that one and Lady Gaga.
Yep. They were able to do what Ballerina was unable to do on that line. Although, luckily, DDT is going to serve a short minute.
That's right.
We'll eventually get both jammers on the track now.
Ballerina back on the track and facing 1 at the back, and now she's got a 3-wall at the front. Strong 3-wall, 2 of Brennan, Hannah Murphy, and da big block. Candy Crossbones doing a nice job of knocking Rudolph out of the way, though, and that buys some time for Ballerina. She is through.
CN Power at a dead stop. Rudolph dragging behind, hoping to take 1 hit on Ballerina. She hits a wall, pink.
Ballerina trying to squeeze through, but nice water falling from the Vixens, making sure that there's always one in front of her. Brennan holding her back. Last line of defense. Ballerina finally through, and she's going to beat the big block in a foot race. Picks up 5 points. This has been some fine derby so far. Very slow, very strategic derby. Fast when it needs to be. We're seeing good tactical play right now. And DDT back on the track as the jam comes to a conclusion, and 5 more points for Ballerina on the board. 50 points is now the lead.
Bella is still very happy about that particular jam.
Despite the penalty at the beginning. Oh, seeing Dust Bunny and
Soul
Wrecker sharing a hug.
Oh, it's like old times.
Yeah. So despite the fact that these two have grown quite a rivalry over the past 3 years, they've faced off 4 times. CN Power's won every meeting so far. But still, I think good camaraderie. The House League teams often play each other as well. Hannah Murphy in the penalty box, you're seeing there. Captain of the Rideau Valley Vixens, skated formerly under the name Semi Precious, member of Team Canada.
I believe we'll see Rideau Valley at the next tournament at Beast of the East, a home team.
That's right, the
tournament.
Slaughter Daughters will definitely be there, along with all 4 Toronto roller derby home teams. We should take this quick opportunity now to, of course, to thank our TORD TV crew. I know we've been thanking them all day, but a big thanks to Tropic Thunder, our director, and Layer 9, Mr. Force, our producer. On the cameras for this game, we have Tomy Knockers, Hailey Copter, and Getcha Kicks. Oh, sorry, Tomy Knockers and Canadian Psycho and Getcha Kicks. It's like a revolving door of Bay Street Bruisers on the cameras today when they're not playing. So big thanks to them. Of course, Wenser, our head announcer for this tournament, Mr. Wenser, also known as Mr. Whistler. And big thanks to our Wrangler, Zombonie, for doing a phenomenal job. And a big thank you to, of course, you, the viewers, and you too can be a part of this boutcasting culture we have by donating to Canuck Derby TV. So just take a moment to minimize your big screen and hit that donate button. Give some money to Canadian boutcasting. Keep it free. Keep it high def. So again, a little recap of the tournament for you. Ohio Roller Girls have already locked up first spot in this round robin tournament by going 3-0 with victories over the Queen City Roller Girls, over all 3 of the teams competing in the tournament. So congratulations to the Ohio Roller Girls. This game is effectively for 2nd overall.
So Pink was reviewing the low block call on the Pink Jammer. Jam, the ball's going to stand. The Pink Jammer forced an opponent off the track using her knee.
Soul Wrecker being held now by a 3-wall at the back of the pack. Dusty fighting through a 3-wall at the front. And finally the 2 walls come together, form some chaos around turn number 2. Neither jammer able to make any headway through these walls. They've just switched positions. Finally, Dusty able to jump over the down skater, and Soul Wrecker through. She is your lead jammer. Evades a nice hit from Dinah, a nice evasion of a hit from Dinah Hercha, and Wrecker is through.
Oh, Dusty taking some awful hits here on the outside line. She's going to try to skate through the end, but they're not letting her.
Soul Wrecker around scoring. She's picked up a few already. Going to the outside past Rennie Rumble. She is through for a big 5-point pickup for the Vixens. They needed that.
Natural grand slam. Dusty called back to the back. Sister Disaster, and who else is out there? Who is that number 16?
That is Margaret Choke.
Giving her a hard time on the track.
And Kuhl, skater formerly known as Bud Blood. 5 points now for Wrecker. Oh, and Dinah Hercha heading back to the penalty box. She fouled out of a game yesterday. She's had a lot of penalty problems all weekend. Soul Wrecker dances through on the inside. 5 more points. These are all natural grand slams, I'd like to point out right now, that are bringing the Vixens back in this one. Dusty having a hard time with Margaret Choke. Soul Wrecker calling that one off, but a big, big jam for the Rideau Valley Vixens. 15 points picked up for Wrecker. Do you have a clarification on that official review called by CN Power?
I did. Ballerina, number 905, the pink jammer there, did in fact have a low block major. She was able to, when she hit DDT to the inside, she did so with her knee leading. So they called that as a low block major.
Interesting. Pixie Cuts number 9 out there against Cookie Dough in the pink for CN Power. And again, CN Power willing to just split these 2 walls up and try to go at it. They didn't win the last battle, but they're winning this one for now. Tara Part and Santa Muerta playing some tough back of the pack defense. Oh, and I think Rudolph mistakenly hitting Tara into her own jammer allows Cookie Dough to get through as your lead jammer.
Tara Part is in fact called off. I believe that was a cut, but looks like the Reverend Ramirez, who is on the bench for CN Power, doesn't understand it either.
Yeah, I think I see what they're talking about. There's been some confusion all weekend from the refs, but Santa Muerta getting called for a direction of gameplay, although it looked like she had established her lane. I think what the argument is, the other skater stood in front of her initiating contact, and so it should have been a no impact. I'm reading the Reverend's mind, but I'm...
If anyone could nerd, it would be you.
86-50 now is a score, 36 points, and I believe this is going to bring us into halftime. The refs are conferring. We will wait until we get an official call before we make anything official. What we can tell you is there's no way 36 points will be stricken off the board, so CN Power will enter halftime with a slim lead, but I think the Vixens have to be very happy with the position they're in right now. They looked like they were out of it at one point, and then that 15-point pickup ended up being, I think, 18 points in total for Wrecker, brought them back to 50 points and within 36.
And no easy feat, too. Those were all natural points scored against the Jammer. Those walls that are being put up by the Vixens are definitely holding back the CN Power Jammers.
Still talking. That's Coach Adam out there with Hannah Murphy, number 10, and Brennan, number 49, and the coach of CN Power, Reverend Ramirez, the bench coach there, having a talk. It looks like they're going to come back to the benches. And I think we can call that an official halftime.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone's getting up.
Discussion is done. So 86-50. We will be back in 15 minutes. So get some beverages, get some snacks, and get back to your computer because you have 15 minutes before the concluding half of the concluding game of the 2013 Quad City Chaos for Monichrome on the Derby Nerd. See ya in 15.